Okay, we're gonna start the recording now. Gonna be going live. Now it's a little dry. Get this throat parched. Okay, we are gonna be going live very, very, very soon. Hey, baby, gotta be quiet. Welcome, everybody. Today is Saturday. We're here again at 8 p.m. going live. It is episode number 6. It's huge. Tonight's episode's called Perseverance and what perseverance means to you. Last week we had our first guest on here. Happened to be actually my grandfather, but at the same time, I got a lot of feedback from a lot of you about some of the information was really crucial. And, I really appreciated his time coming on the show, sharing all that information. And, here we are. Today's Saturday, June 6th. It is a little bit rainy in where I'm living right now, so I'm sure some of you are home right now wanting to get out. Yesterday was the first time here in where I live in Dunedin, Clearwater, where we're actually able to go to a bar. And it was packed to the brim. Even though it was raining, it was packed. There was a lot of good vibes, a lot of good energy, people getting out of the house, feeling up to themselves. So we're going to get right into it today. Today's show's on perseverance. Tonight's content is going to include, stop making excuses and just do it. Understanding our limitations and also look at what the human mind can do, understanding our mind. This information is here for you to transform the way you think, react, and understand the world around you. Once you transform the way you perceive the world around you, soon you will see you have transformed yourself. Understand you are not a man observing the universe, but the universe experiencing itself through a man. Extend your limitations. Rise above. That's what today's energy is. Look at what's going on around the world, all the different challenges that we're going through. We got the George Floyd tragic murder that happened to be on camera. A very, very brutal 9 minutes of seeing one of our counterparts, regardless of his color of his skin, just his rights not respected. And, we haven't seen this type of anger in our society in probably 40, 50 years. I mean, it's not even just our society here in the United States. It's all. And not only do we have the George Floyd thing going on, we still have this coronavirus agenda that's taking place. And I know that some of you guys in New York State, California, and other states just as that are still confined to their homes. They're not able to go out. And if they are able to go out, they're forced to be wearing a face mask. The interactions with everyone, the energy is very, very laid back. And it's not the same. And so it's not the same. And so what I will say to you is, is it a coincidence that both the George Floyd and the coronavirus thing are happening at the same time? I really believe it's just a transformation of consciousness of humanity as a whole. We no longer want all of these corporations collecting all of this money while we're on the short end of the stick. We're starting to open our eyes, and it's a beautiful thing. The division of humanity has never been pushed to these limits with pressure and uncertainty from all directions. In other words, our leaders are showing that they are human just like us. Our trust in each other is being pushed to limits we didn't even know that was imaginable. And like I said, is it a coincidence that, both the George Floyd and coronavirus thing are happening at the same time? This is really pushing a separation between our peers, our colleagues, and friends. And it's unlike we have experienced, me, especially in my 28 years of life. So what I want to say to you is rise above the energy that's going on, remain positive, understand that you do have an opinion and you know what's right from wrong. Stick for what's right, but at the same time, remain positive and don't feed into the negativity. That's where I would leave these challenges that we're facing in our crisis right now. And I just know that I love all of you. And, we're going to get through this, and we're going to get through this with a huge smile on our face. So I'm going to dive deep into it. What's perseverance to me? What I've been going through, share some examples, but we're going to talk about the phantom self again. I believe that was my first episode. We talked about the phantom self. So we're going to dive right into it. What is the phantom self again? For those who didn't listen, the phantom self is the character that you decide to play in this world from the program that has been instilled since birth through experiences, education, family, culture, that is that you don't even know it's happening to you. Your parents, your loved ones, your friends, your teachers, everyone around you are in the program as well, and they don't even understanding that they're programming you. And it's just it's a pendulum or a vicious circle, as I would call it, of just this programming. And it's time to rise above and understand this programming. A lot of the times you may feel this anxiety, this fear, or something's not right, or you just don't want to do something. That's the little voice in your head telling you the truth. But we don't listen to it, and we zone it out and we drown it out because we've been programmed to think that we're going to feel that and get over it and just do the bullshit. And in our society, we just love to eat bullshit, as George Carlin would say. And it's time for us to stop eating the bullshit and understand to love ourselves, because that's the only way that we could build humanity as a whole, is not by loving one another. It all starts with loving yourself and identifying who this phantom self is inside of you and who you truly are. And that's what this show is all about. This show is to break that character. It is to separate that bullshit character you created that you want acceptance for, and it's time to mold into who you truly should be, so you can get everything you want and more out of life. So, to talk a little bit more about the phantom self, it is an illusion of oneself in a world of avatars. Everyone's an avatar. Everyone's this character, and we stop what we're doing when someone talks about us, whether it's at work, in school, our friends, our loved ones. We ever get that feeling when it's like, oh, Joe, what I like about you, and then all of a sudden your attention is fixated on it. It's not fixated on it because it means anything. You're fixated on it because you care about the character that you've made, and you want validation for the character that you're playing. And that's, where we're being tricked in society, and it's time to wake up from that. Let me tell you, it's time to wake up from the bullshit. Wake up and enjoy your motherfucking life. So, to get on to the next thing, simply put it, when your ego gets involved and you are your motherfucking life. So to get on to the next thing, simply put it, when your ego gets involved and you are defending your phantom self and not yourself, it's hard to take and understand what I'm talking about. It's when you question your perception and reactions to situations, do you begin to understand that it is what you have control over. Do you allow the phantom self to come in and take over your decision-making processes? Or do you look at a given situation by taking a step back and understanding that you are not necessarily how you're feeling? And understand what you are necessarily feeling. So what I want to say to you is understand that you are not who you think you are. I am not Joseph Talski. I wrote down my name my whole life. I've been to school. I've always identified by that name and the character that I portrayed. But that is not who I truly am. Who I truly am is this infinite awareness, this beautiful soul that just wants to experience joy and peace and enlightenment and even feel more than that and all the beautiful things that this world has to offer. So I challenge you to get yourself very, very uncomfortable because we're going to dive into some deep ass shit today. Question your motherfucking self. Okay? Seriously. So, where am I? Get into everything. So, what I want you guys to really think about while I'm going through this episode is, who are you? What are the things that you want out of life? Are they materialistic? Are they things that mean something of great value to you? Is it a wife, a home, a retirement? Is it physical? Is it sex? What is it that you want out of life? Determine what's a want and a need, and then also determine on what you deserve. Here in this world where we deserve a lot more than we ever even think is imaginable. You got to understand that this world, this universe is your oyster. You are this world. And so how do we look outside the box of realm of the program reality? How do we get outside of that? Let's take a breath and start to think for a moment. What am I here to do? I don't want to hear about a job. I don't want to hear about a career choice, not a hobby, not an interest, but rather a purpose of self-worth. We are all here for a reason, whether you understand that notion or not. You may not know what your purpose is as of yet, but you have to be receptive to what opportunities the universe, or source as some may call it, are throwing your way. And it's constantly throwing you something. Always there's opportunity right in front of you. You just got to grab your arm, reach out and grab it. I mean that. Seriously. We always talk about manifestation and your attention behind what you want to manifest in your life. And that is the law of attraction. I'm sure if you guys have seen the book or maybe seen it on Netflix or probably heard about it in different ways and forms, and different motivational speakers talk about it. But they never really dive into understanding our own minds. Just because I'm able to maybe read better than the other person or absorb information differently than the other person doesn't make me better or worse. It just makes me how I learn the material at hand. So there is no one way or right way with all these different types of motivational speakers trying to show you how to change your life. What we're here to do, what I'm here to do, is collectively talk as a group, talk as a whole together to come up with how the hell do we love ourselves so we can have the best life possible. So, what is your purpose? You know what I mean by purpose? Purpose is what allows you to feel joy and peace in your life. It's when time goes by and you're not actually counting down the minutes till you have to stop what you're doing. A lot of us hate what we do on a daily basis, but we always tell ourselves that we have to do it in order to be happy or to maintain the lifestyle that we have. And let me tell you, that is not true. It is not true whatsoever. Purpose is everything. Purpose allows you to go day by day doing what you love with a smile on your face and not feeling for any tiny little bit of moment that it was work. Just because you might not have this job or career or doing exactly what you should be doing at this moment doesn't mean you can't be enjoying the fruits of this world. Take one day at a time and get yourself out of the program reality. Get yourself out of your bed in the morning and do something different. Okay? So, what is interesting in Eastern teachings, there are levels of consciousness. They have different levels that you can get to get where you need to be. So you may start off with discernment, the aha moment, joy, peace, enlightenment, so forth and so forth. Those are Eastern teachings. You'll learn that in Buddhism, Hinduism, and other Eastern religions. Now, when it comes down to Judaic religions or, Judeo-Christian, Muslim, we have to go through a program of this guilt that we must feel. And we have to triumph over that guilt and over that ego to feel enlightenment or feel joy. And there's a certain type of rules that you need to go by. But, and there's all these different sects and information when in reality it's just really, really simple. So what can we understand that, in Western teachings, all they are is accelerated versions of Eastern teachings in different sects. So what I would like to take is, let's take Eastern, let's take Western, let's combine the two. We're in 2020. This is New Age thinking. No longer are we going to be confined by a leveling system, a guilt system, or any of that. We're in a New Age thinking. We have at our disposal information on a touch of a button, regardless of what it is. That's how free our information is, especially with these computers, man. I'm able to have access to information I didn't even think was possible. Videos, presentations, podcasts from influential thinkers. I mean, it's really amazing. For the first time, we got celebrities starting podcasts. We're able to share some insights on their success and what made them successful or what got them to where they got. And, this is how we are breaking this program realities by this New Age thinking. This New Age thinking is going to incorporate so much more than this leveling system. It's going to incorporate just self-love. And from self-love is going to come this beautiful, absolute magnificent relationship we have with one another. And once we start to understand that everyone is just an extension of ourselves, that's when we begin to love even more. Regardless if they have an opposite opinion of you, they look different than you, they think different than you, they experience life differently than you, doesn't mean that they are not experiencing the same infinite awareness as you. Understand everyone's an extension of you. And also think about for a moment, I have access to information from a touch of a button than a PhD philosopher did 50 years ago. That's how lucky and fortunate we are as a human race. And let's use that to our ability to question everything and bring everything. Think about the George Floyd, the coronavirus, how everything's going on. If we sat back for a moment and understood what one side's wanting and what the other side is wanting, and just come into a very humanitarian decision of life, everything would just be so much easier. Fuck it. Who cares if you're Republican or you're Democrat or you're independent or any of that shit? We're human beings. It's real simple. Stop fucking hurting us and start treating each other like the way we want to be treated, the golden rule, as some would call it. Now, we're going to keep this going, and how do we look outside the box of the realm? Now, think about it. We heard about psychedelics back in the 70s, 60s with the LSD, the mushrooms. Now, later 90s, early 2000s, introduction of, DMT, ayahuasca, ibogaine, and, Molly, all this stuff that's becoming readily available to everybody. These psychotropics now are being studied. Movies are being made from them. Documentaries are being made from them. And there's more information out there about these things that makes them more readily available for everybody. And as I'm getting to be an adult, I'm starting to realize more and more successful people that, we look up to are taking these things. And it's opening their minds and allowing them to break free from the chains of the program to become what they've always wanted to become and do what they've always wanted to do. I mean, what's that show called on Netflix? Have a Safe Trip or something like that. So that's just one way of understanding, these psychotropics and these psychedelics give to alternate realities. Think about it. Where did religion stem from? Where did ideology stem from? Where did constructs of society come from? Look at Steve Jobs with the freaking Apple. It was created because of it. So it's not saying that I'm telling people to go and do psychedelics or go do psychotropics to enhance your mind. What I'm saying is those are tools that people have used to give us either machinery, ideologies, philosophies, ways of life. And there's more people who we look up to than we'll ever know who use these readily to their disposal to come up with all different forms of waves of life. So, there are a lot of people coming out now and sharing their experiences, their experiences that have helped them grow substantially. A lot of people are tricked or misinformed to think that these devices or enhancing substances, that they are bad. We're also misled to believe that we can lose part of oneself from taking these substances, and that's not true. That's what we've been programmed to believe through media, movies, what your friends have watched and been brainwashed to believe. And you have to think for yourself. You got to stop taking information for what it is and question that information, so you come up with your own educated, analytical, logical, rational reasoning behind the decisions that you make in life and how you go on your way of life. We are misled to believe that we can lose part of oneself. That is stretching the truth to a tad bit. These devices have been used for tens of thousands of years, and until this day, some of these devices may hold truths about yourself that you didn't even comprehend or understand in your day-to-day life. What I want to say to you is say no to fear. No more. Stop looking at life with fear and worry. You're not living. When you live in a life of fear, you live a fraudulent life, a life that just time passes on. You're not living. Instead of living a life in fear, live a life as an excitement for growth. Change the way you feel from. You're always going to experience that feeling. That feeling is never, ever going to go away. No matter what I do in my life, whether it's, going down a big ass hill with rocks on a mountain bike now, no matter what, when I get to the top of that hill, I feel fear. I feel fear because my mind's trying to control me that, hey, if you do that, you might die and, all this other stuff, or you're going to get hurt. And it's not allowing me to live. But going down that hill, I have a smile on my face like a 6-year-old boy getting a Game Boy for the first time. You can't take that smile off my face. But I never would have known that unless I went down the fucking hill and didn't let fear override what I want to do. Stop letting fear dictate your life. Just go out there and fucking do it. Take corrective massive action in your life. If there's something that you want to go and do it. Stop making excuses not to do it. Go and do it. Nike's famous for saying, just do it. There's truth to that. Just fucking do it. You got 3 seconds to make that decision. In the first 3 seconds, when you're about to make a decision, if you don't say yes, you're going to talk yourself out of it. And what I'm here to tell you is to stop doing that shit. Say no to the fear. Welcome the excitement for growth. Welcome it. It's going to change your fucking life. Get uncomfortable. Put yourself in situations that you normally wouldn't find yourself in. Try something new each and every day, and you will start to realize you have a lot more interests than you would ever have imagined. Now, I hope, I have some people tuning in and watching this. Thank you, Aunt Robin. I love you too. You can watch the rest of it on YouTube. I'll upload it tonight. Hello, Cuzzy Marky. I love you too. Anyone that has any Q&As throughout the show, wants to ask me any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm right here. I got my Facebook up. I see your guys' comments. And do know that, like I mentioned, this is going to be on YouTube right after. I'm going to upload it tonight. I feel truly this is some of my best content yet. I hope it's making you question yourself and what you're doing right now. Now, we talked about trying to understand the separation between who you are, your phantom self, who you are and your phantom self, separating that duality that we live here in this universe. We do live in a dualistic reality. So there's always dualism everywhere, separation of two, separation of one from the one. So, we're going to talk about taking corrective, massive action. I want to say it again. Take corrective, massive action. One of the most important things you can ever do in your life. And what does that mean? Don't let that term scare you. Don't have to go fucking out there and fucking conquer everything at every given moment. That's what they misled you to believe. But if you want something out of life, you want to better yourself, you want to get and enjoy life, you have to create motion. You can't stay stagnant and expect something to come. It's just not going to work that way. You have to put yourself in areas to receive opportunities. You got to do things you've never done before, meet people you've never met before, to put yourself in place to seize opportunities. And I can tell you first, Gabe, you're so funny. What age did I start growing a beard? You already know that, my friend. I started shaving at 10. So I had a full beard around 11, 12 years old. And I didn't start growing this full big beard, until later in my adult life. But now I'm going to keep this thing going. I'm going to keep it going, baby. Keep it going. But, let's get back to, taking corrective massive action in your life. Take charge of your life. It's your life. You can't stay in sorrow and wait for other people. You have to take action in your life, regardless if they're your girlfriend, your wife, your kids, your boss, your friends. You cannot rely on a single person but yourself. And that doesn't mean you're alone, and that doesn't mean anything to that contrary. It's just the truth. Take charge of your life. Transform the way you think. Make yourself uncomfortable and take corrective, massive motherfucking action. You can't depend or rely on anyone, like I said. And you can't rely on anything to just be given to you at all. You can't. You have to move and put yourself in position to be rewarded by the universe's bountiful gifts. Example, if you want to be a badass playing a guitar, it isn't just going to happen. You're not going to just pick up a fucking guitar and start shredding. It just doesn't work that way. You have to put in work. You have to find yourself a suitable guitar for your style of play. You'll have to dedicate hundreds, if not thousands of hours to become really good at playing the guitar. Then who knows, one day from all the work you put in and you notice, and all of us, and you are noticed. And all of a sudden the universe rewards you with playing for a record label. But it takes corrective, massive action. It takes loving yourself. It takes doing something new for the first time. Like this show is about first times. It's doing stuff for the first time. I'm always doing a new hobby, picking something up new. Doing something I didn't do last week. Because it stimulates me, makes me feel alive. Now, understand it starts off with an idea. Everything starts off with an idea. And then we start to put in thought. And then after you start putting it into thought from those ideas, you start to plan. And those plans that you do start to orchestrate the execution because you've already put in the work and time to manifest what you want in life. This is the intention of manifestation as I talk about. And let that really dive deep into you. The intention of your manifestations of what you want in life all stem from the idea, then a thought, planning, and execution. And, there's other religions that talk about the same thing. The Kabbalah talks a lot about the idea, the thought, the planning and execution, in a more ancient way. Understand you are the architect, the foreman, and the crew that constructs the reality that you choose to be in. That's the real shit. This is your life. If you want something and you want to feel something, then put yourself in place to go and do it. Stop waiting on people to hold your hand, and stop waiting on people to make you feel a certain feeling. You can get that feeling from within by loving yourself. Get uncomfortable. Why don't you do this? Why don't you, when you wake up tomorrow, if you wake up and you usually immediately jump in the shower, or you immediately go and make a coffee, instead of doing that, go put your fucking shoes on and go walk down the block and walk back. Might not be much. You might not want to do it, but it's something different. It's something different to the point that you might see something on that walk that could change your life, but you never would have known unless you changed your routines and your habits. We're told that we have to be these routine, habitual creatures in order to live a successful, sustained life, and that's the biggest crock of shit there ever was. You don't have to be doing the same shit you were doing yesterday, today, in order to feel fulfilled. It's not true. It's not true. If you don't like your life, your job, your relationships, the way you feel, then fucking do something about it. Do something. Don't be like, oh, well, I gotta do this before I do that. And it's like, stop. You're lying to yourself. You are literally lying to yourself. If you want to change what you're doing right now, then fucking do it. Just do it. Snap out of it. Wake the fuck up. Take control of your life and take corrective massive action to live the life you want to live and deserve. It's the realest shit I can ever tell you. It's the realest shit I can ever tell you. I could sit here and tell you when, my mind woke up, and I could sit here and tell you, where it all came from. And it's real simple. November 10th, that's when it all changed for me. I woke the fuck up. I stopped making excuses for my health. I stopped making excuses on why I couldn't do something. I took care of what I had to fucking take care of, and I just did it. It started off with quitting something, that it was hard to me. It was cigarettes. But I quit the motherfuckers. I haven't smoked a cigarette since November 10th. And I don't even think about smoking one of those anymore. You have to take control. Take control. I have other vices that I do, but it's understanding that you have to take control of your vices. I used to love eating fucking ice cream, candy. I used to love eating at 11 o'clock at night. You have to understand that those things are great and you can still do them. But look at yourself. I was 268 pounds on January 1st. I'm 234. Not because I go out and I go work out or I do this. What I do is I just make sure I'm mindful of my body and I listen to my body and what it needs. I'm not going to tell you, you got to go to the gym an hour and a half a day. You got to do this. You got to do. No. Eat the same shit you're eating. Just be mindful of what you're eating. If you know it's processed shit, don't eat that shit. You know better. You're an adult. I know a lot of people don't know how to cook. I'm starting to realize that. But go out there and go learn how to cook. It's very important on what you put in your body. Okay? Those are very, very important on what you put in your body. Now, I'm going to put a little David Goggins in this bitch for you. Don't settle for the 40%. Even when you think you're conquering life and you're doing phenomenal and you think that, you have everything under grasp, you're only completing 40%. there's still 60% more that you couldn't achieve. And that's what David Goggins has taught me. It's stop fucking lying to yourself and stop settling. If you want something, go out there and do it, and don't expect anyone to hold your hand, and don't expect any praise. Don't expect anything from anybody. Love everybody. Love everyone you meet. Cherish everybody you meet. But like I said, you have to love yourself in order for life to start giving you everything you've ever wanted and more. Okay? Now, we talked about taking corrective massive action. We talked about our phantom self and how we can separate our phantom self from who we truly are and experience joy, peace, love, tranquility. When take corrective massive action is how we manifest what we want. So, we talked about the idea, the thought, the planning, the execution. So, with that, what you choose to believe and perceive are both true regardless of the facts or the truths of life. Okay? You are what you perceive and what you believe to be true. And I'll say that again. You are what you perceive and what you believe to be true. That's our world. That's why we have opinions. That's why someone feels a certain way and another doesn't, and even though they experience the same experience. We will never be able to change the way someone feels about what they perceive to be true. We can always lay facts. We could always lay details and, rationalize, but what someone perceives and what they believe, they're always going to stay true to that. How do we break that bullshit? You got to understand this is your life and this is your reality. What do you want out of it? What do you feel stress? Or why do you feel stress? Why do you feel anxiety? Why do you feel fear? Why do you feel worry? They are nothing but illusions of the phantom self. They are nothing but illusions of the character that you have made. Regardless if you want to believe that or not, it is the truth. You may remember that one time in 3rd grade where maybe a girl didn't like you back and it shaped your confidence moving forward for the rest of your life, and you settle in your 20s for a girl just because she gave you a time of day. That's the phantom self. We get stuck in that phantom self. All of a sudden, we start calcifying ourselves, gaining weight, becoming miserable, becoming all these things that we're not because we try to be the phantom self. And some of us have damaged phantom selves, and some of us have great phantom selves. And the ones that are narcissistic and love themselves love the phantom self that they've created. And we see a lot of successful people who live their phantom self life. And we want to inspire to it because we're like, wow, look at that fucking prick living his best life, looking good. I want to live my life, and I guess I got to be a fucking prick in order to have that life, and it's wrong. When you go to make the decision in life, when you go to unlock your mind or you go to really understand the way you think, you have 2 choices to make in life. You have the choice of manipulation, which I would say above 95% of people take. Or you could take the road that no one really else wants to take because no one knows the answers on that road, but they do know the answers to the road of manipulation. If you want a nice fancy car in your driveway, you want a nice house, you want money in your bank, the easy way is to sell your soul and start manipulating people around you because you're manipulating yourself and lying to yourself. And you can have all those things in your life. But if material things is what makes you happy, then, this show's not for you. You're not for you. You have to understand that the phantom self is not who you are. It just isn't. You are not the character that you created. You've been lied to your whole life. The worst thing is a lot of people, go through this thing called the midlife crisis. They appear to be in their 40s, their 50s, They start doing things like cheating on their wives or doing some irrational behaviors or, becoming depressed or, losing themselves. And it's not because, they're halfway to death. It's because they realized that it's all been bullshit, man. I realized it was all bullshit. I lived that callous life. I lied to myself and told myself that I had to do this in order to feel fulfilled, and it was not fulfilling me. None of that shit was, man. Work was not fulfilling me, and work was my life. Fuck that shit, man. Here I am. I'm doing these podcasts because I have information from my experiences that I feel that I have to share with all of you. I feel that I have to. When I see people, I see the pain everyone goes through, and I want everyone to wake up, love themselves. And that's why this show has been created, and I can't wait. As time goes on, the more in depth we get, the more guests that we have. I got 2 guests scheduled for the month of July. I'll be getting some more, as time goes on. It's just been, one day at a time, and I'm loving the journey. I don't give a shit about the destination. Who cares that maybe one day I'll have my own building, my own studio, my own camera crew, my own everything. It's just beautiful, the fact that I'm doing it right now. And each day I add something to it. Each day I gain more confidence. It's truly amazing. And, the response that I got last week is definitely, sparked a fire underneath my ass because I got a lot of great feedback from all of you. It was great. So the show is definitely helping. I am going to be releasing a new podcast in July too called Real Talk Basketball. We're going to be airing probably on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Haven't worked out the details yet, but we will be talking about NBA basketball, the draft, EuroLeague players, college basketball once it starts back up. And, we're going to talk some real talk motherfucking basketball. It's going to be great. But, to get back onto this track of this show, to kind of take a step back from all the seriousness. That's why, I wanted to share that with you. We got to break free of the chains of this life. Break free. I'm sure you guys watch some movies and whatnot. There's this movie where everyone's asleep on the ship. Everyone's asleep. And all of a sudden, one person wakes up and starts experiencing life, and he wants everyone else to wake up. It's kind of like that's what's going on. I want everybody to wake the fuck up. Let's fucking party this world. Let's enjoy each other. Let's love each other. Let's create beautiful, beautiful, beautiful things in this world for all of us to better ourselves in humanity. One of the biggest things I can say to you guys is you need to remove all negativity out of your life. I know that's easier said than done, but I'm so real. Remove all the negativity out of your life. This isn't just a phrase to say that sounds good. This is real shit. Remove all the negativity out of your life. When someone or people around you start conversating about a topic that is negative, remove yourself from the situation. This doesn't take away from the pain in the world or what may be going on in the world, but focus on what you can do and remember to make sure it's positive. Positivity is everything in life. It's a frequency, believe it or not. It has energy. So does negativity. When you surround yourself with negativity, your world becomes negative. You start to attract things that are not good in your life, whether it's people, situations, or even your fortunes. You have to understand that when someone starts talking negative, it could be anything too, and you don't even realize it's negative until you pay mind to it. Simply saying, for instance, let's say I'm going on a bike ride with my buddy. If someone says to me, hey, be careful, it's going to rain, that's a negative connotation. It might not seem negative, but it's negative. What happens is somebody is trying to throw their world of perception onto you. That's what that is. I wasn't thinking for a moment it was going to rain. Did I see that it's overcast? Yes. 28 years old, I'm pretty confident I can see it. I feel it. I've experienced it, but I don't need somebody to project that into my world. So when people do, you have to remove yourself from the situation. It's easier said than done, but let me tell you, it will change your life. Make sure you're always in a positive mind state. You remain positive. You feel positive. You're always smiling. Those are the things that are going to just bring beauty and joy into your life. I promise you. Okay? Challenge yourself and enjoy the journey along the way, because the destination will also come. It's inevitable. The destination always comes. We are so fixated on the end. We're so fixated on the destination. We don't want to make 5 million. We want 5 million. Like, where did that concept come from? What it came from is this capitalistic affluenza, entitlement mindset country that we live in. We are so preoccupied with this bullshit. It's just crazy. It's not about the destination, guys. The destination will always come. It will always come. Death will always come. Always. So stop worrying about the destination and enjoy the journey. The journey is everything. The present moment is absolutely everything. We can hold on to our past experiences to enhance our present moment. We can get excited for the future, but we can't live in the future. We have to embrace the moment of now. We have to embrace ourselves. We have to love ourselves. We have to challenge ourselves and take corrective, massive action. The realest shit I'll ever tell you guys is take corrective, massive action. Take charge of your life. Okay? Positivity will change your life. Always have a smile on your face and enjoy each passing moment. That's all we'll ever have. You know, and what is perseverance? What is perseverance? What does that mean to you? It means to take control and overcome, conquer, persevere through all obstacles. Take control of your life. Take control on how you react to life. Change your daily habits. Change your routines. Change the food you put in your body. Change what you eat for breakfast. It could be anything. Change your life the fuck up and experience what this beautiful world has to offer. This is the content that I have for tonight's show. I would love for anybody to get, leave me any feedback. Tell me their thoughts. Tell me what they think about, the information that we had. I want to get some more guests on here. I will be having live guests on the show very soon. We'll be also having some live phone guests to chime in on conversation. This is absolutely the most beautiful thing in the world, guys. I'm loving every little moment that I have with you. The show tonight ran perfectly. I had great content, and I have so much more to come. And if you guys have any questions, concerns, along the way, I have to answer the Sasquatch question. Damn, wow, I didn't even see these questions. All right, so Joe Morazzi said, is the hair on your back as thick, Sasquatch? Not until you answer the Sasquatch question. Yes, maybe my back hair is as thick as my beard. No, I'm just kidding. No, I trimmed that shit. It's been a great show. If anyone wants to maybe do some Q&As right now, definitely feel free. Drop the comment. Send me a text. We could always have you on here right now. You can ask me any questions that you guys have. But like I said, I will be starting my own Real Talk basketball podcast in July. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Probably about an hour a day, 45 minutes to an hour a day of content about real shit pertaining to basketball. So get ready for that. That's the next chapter in my life. I had fun tonight. Thank you guys all for watching. I'll be uploading this to YouTube, and stay tuned for next week, 8 p.m. episode motherfucking number 7. That's right, motherfucking number 7. Here we are, baby. We're here. We're doing it. And anyone that wants to be on the show, feel free to message me, contact me, and we'll see if we can make something happen. I love all of you. Really, I love all of you. I want you guys to challenge yourselves each and every day. God bless, take care, and good night.